Welcome to the School of the Lost Tribes. Your charity helps generate the lessons needed to seal the chosen before the destruction. 2 Ezra 8:25. For as long as I live I will speak, and as long as I have understanding I will answer. Ezra here declares his resolve and duty before Yahweh. After seeing Israel's failings, hearing of coming judgment, and beginning his prayer, he makes it plain that he will not remain silent. For as long as I live, I will speak. Ezra is saying that while he still has breath, he will continue to speak before Yahweh and speak the truth that has been revealed to him. This is the mindset of a faithful servant. Life is not to be wasted in silence when the people need warning, instruction, and intercession. And as long as I have understanding, I will answer. Ezra connects speech with understanding. He is not speaking from emotion only, but from the wisdom and revelation Yahweh has given him. As long as he possesses understanding, he will respond faithfully. This shows that understanding creates responsibility. Once truth is known, it must be spoken. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse reflects the duty of the watchman among Israel. Ezra is burdened for Yahweh's people, his inheritance, Israel, the seed of Jacob. Because of that burden, he commits himself to keep speaking while he lives. He will continue to pray, answer, warn, and testify as long as Yahweh allows him understanding. This verse teaches a strong principle. If Yahweh gives you life, speak truth. If Yahweh gives you understanding, answer faithfully. Ezra shows that revelation is not given for silence. It is given for intercession, teaching, and warning. 2 Ezra 8:26. O look not upon the sins of thy people, but at those who have served thee in truth. Ezra's prayer now becomes a direct plea for mercy on Israel. He knows the people have sinned, but he asks Yahweh to consider not only their guilt, but also the faithful ones among them. O look not upon the sins of thy people. Ezra is not denying that Israel has sinned. He has already confessed their failings and rebellion. But here he pleads that Yahweh would not fix his attention only on their transgressions. This is a cry for mercy, asking the Most High to temper judgment. But at those who have served thee in truth. Ezra points to the faithful remnant, those within Israel who have served Yahweh sincerely, uprightly, and in truth. These are not the rebellious multitude, but the few who feared him, kept his ways, and remained loyal to the covenant. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse is a powerful appeal based on the remnant. Ezra is praying for Yahweh's people, asking that the nation not be viewed only through the lens of its rebels, but also through the lens of those Israelites who truly served him. This reflects a repeated biblical pattern. The nation may be corrupted, but a remnant remains, and that remnant stands as a witness before Yahweh. Ezra's plea is essentially this: do not judge all Israel only by the wicked within her, but remember the faithful who have served thee in truth. This verse shows the heart of intercession, confession of sin, but also appeal to the faithfulness of the remnant. 2 Ezra 8:27. Regard not the endeavors of those who act wickedly, but the endeavors of those who have kept thy covenants amid afflictions. Ezra continues his plea for mercy by asking Yahweh to distinguish between the wicked within Israel and the faithful remnant who remained obedient under pressure. Regard not the endeavors of those who act wickedly. Ezra is referring to the actions, pursuits, and ways of the rebellious. Their endeavors are the works of disobedience, lawlessness, pride, unbelief, and covenant breaking. Ezra asks that these wicked works not be the only thing Yahweh considers when looking upon his people, but the endeavors of those who have kept thy covenants. In contrast, Ezra points to the righteous Israelites who remained faithful. Their endeavors are their efforts to obey, endure, and walk uprightly in the covenant. They are not perfect by their own strength, but they have remained committed to Yahweh's ways, amid afflictions. This is key. The faithful did not keep the covenant in ease and comfort, but under suffering, pressure, and hardship. Their obedience was tested. They endured afflictions and still held to the truth. That makes their faithfulness precious in the sight of Yahweh. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse is another appeal based on the remnant principle. Ezra knows many in Israel are wicked, But he asks Yahweh to remember the few who have kept the covenant even while afflicted. This verse teaches that Yahweh sees not only who sinned, but also who endured faithfully in truth. Ezra's prayer is asking that the nation not be judged only by the rebellious majority, but that the faithfulness of the afflicted remnant would stand before Yahweh as a testimony. 2 Esdras 8:28. Think not on those who have lived wickedly in thy sight, but remember those who have willingly acknowledged that thou art to be feared. Ezra continues pleading for Yahweh to look upon the faithful remnant, rather than fixing his attention on the rebellious among the people. Think not on those who have lived wickedly in thy sight. Ezra is again not denying Israel's sin. He knows many have lived wickedly before Yahweh, openly and knowingly. Their lives have been marked by disobedience, unbelief, and covenant breaking. But Ezra asks that these wicked ones not be the only representation of the nation before the Most High. But remember those, this is a plea for Yahweh to call to mind the righteous among his people, the few who remained sincere. Ezra is appealing to the remnant, the same faithful few he mentioned earlier, who have willingly acknowledged. Their obedience was not forced. They willingly, freely, and consciously submitted themselves to Yahweh. This matters because true righteousness is not outward form alone. It is a heart that willingly bows. That thou art to be feared. The faithful are identified by their fear of Yahweh. They recognize his holiness, his power, his law, and his right to judge. This fear is not mere terror, but reverent submission that leads to obedience. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse shows Ezra interceding for Israel on the basis of the remnant. He knows the nation contains both, those who live wickedly and those who truly fear Yahweh. His prayer is that Yahweh would remember the latter, the obedient remnant who willingly acknowledged his authority. This verse teaches a clear principle. The difference between the wicked and the faithful is not lineage alone, but whether they willingly fear Yahweh and walk accordingly. 2 Esdras 8:29. Let it not be thy will to destroy those who have had the ways of cattle, but regard those who have gloriously taught thy law. Ezra continues pleading for mercy, but here his words become even more revealing. He contrasts two kinds of people within the nation, those who have lived in ignorance and brutishness, and those who have stood faithfully for the truth of Yahweh's law. Let it not be thy will to destroy those who have had the ways of cattle. The ways of cattle speaks of people living in a low, fleshly, and unthinking way, driven by appetite, impulse, and earthly desire rather than wisdom and fear of Yahweh. Ezra is describing Israelites who have behaved without spiritual understanding, almost like beasts. Yet even here he pleads for mercy. He asks that Yahweh not delight in their destruction, though they have lived beneath their calling. But regard those. Ezra again directs attention to the remnant. He is asking Yahweh to consider not only the foolish and rebellious, but also the righteous among the people, who have gloriously taught thy law. These are the faithful teachers, prophets, and servants who did not hide Yahweh's truth. They taught the law openly, honorably, and with courage. Gloriously suggests that their teaching brought honor to Yahweh. They upheld his commandments in the midst of corruption and affliction. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse highlights the difference inside Israel itself. Some lived like cattle, ruled by flesh, while others upheld and taught the law of Yahweh with honor. Ezra's plea is that Yahweh would let the presence of the faithful remnant weigh in the balance. He is not excusing the brutish behavior of the many, but he is asking the Most High to remember the righteous few who kept the truth alive. This verse teaches that among the covenant people, there are always two spirits, the spirit of fleshly ignorance and the spirit of faithful instruction. Ezra asks Yahweh to look upon the latter, 2 Esdras 8:30. Be not angry with those who are deemed worse than beasts, but love those who have always put their trust in thy glory. Ezra continues his plea for mercy, contrasting the most degraded among the people with the faithful remnant who have remained steadfast. Be not angry with those who are deemed worse than beasts. Ezra is speaking of those Israelites who have sunk so low in conduct that they are described as worse than beasts. Beasts act by instinct, but these people have had the law, instruction, and correction, yet still chose wickedness. Ezra is not denying their guilt. Rather, he is pleading that Yahweh's anger would not consume the whole people on account of such corruption, but love those. Once again, Ezra turns attention to the remnant. He asks Yahweh to regard, favor, and preserve those within Israel who are different from the rebellious multitude, who have always put their trust in thy glory. These are the faithful ones who relied not on flesh, not on idols, not on worldly strength, but on the glory of Yahweh. To trust in his glory means they believed in his majesty, his covenant, his promises, and his power to save. Their trust was constant and enduring. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse is another remnant appeal. Ezra knows many in Israel are corrupt, brutish, and deserving of judgment, but he asks Yahweh not to let the wicked define the whole nation. Instead, he asks him to look in love upon those Israelites who have remained faithful and trusted in his glory. This verse teaches a clear contrast. The wicked fall below their calling, but the remnant rise by trusting in Yahweh's glory. Ezra's prayer is that the love of Yahweh would rest upon that faithful remnant, even while judgment hangs over the rebellious. 2 Esdras 8:31. For we and our fathers have passed our lives in ways that bring death, but thou, because of us sinners, art called merciful. Ezra now openly confesses the long history of Israel's failure, but at the same time, he magnifies the mercy of the Most High. For we and our fathers. Ezra includes both the present generation and the generations before them. This shows that the problem is not recent only. The nation has a long pattern of disobedience. He does not separate himself proudly from his people, but speaks as part of them. Have passed our lives in ways that bring death. Their conduct has not led to life, peace, and blessing, but toward death. These ways are the paths of sin, rebellion, unbelief, and covenant breaking. Ezra is admitting that Israel has walked in directions that naturally lead to judgment. But thou, because of us sinners, art called merciful. This is the turning point of the verse. Yahweh is called merciful precisely because he has dealt with sinners and yet has not utterly destroyed them. His mercy is made known in the way he continues to show patience, compassion, and room for repentance to his people. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse is deeply covenantal. Ezra is speaking about Israel and their fathers, not mankind in general. He is confessing that the chosen people have repeatedly walked in death-bringing ways, yet Yahweh still bears the name merciful because he preserves a remnant and does not cut off the whole nation at once. This verse teaches two things at once. Israel's history is marked by sin, but Yahweh's name is magnified through mercy. Ezra is showing that if Yahweh dealt only in strict destruction, none of Israel would remain. But because he is merciful, there is still hope for the repentant remnant. 2 Esdras 8:32. For if thou hast desired to have pity on us, who have no works of righteousness, then thou wilt be called merciful. Ezra continues his confession with deep humility. He admits that Israel cannot stand before Yahweh on the strength of their own righteousness. When he says we have no works of righteousness, he is acknowledging that the people, taken as a whole, have not produced the obedience and covenant faithfulness that would justify them before the Most High. This is not Ezra denying that a remnant exists, but confessing that as a nation, they are unworthy of mercy if judged strictly by their works. The second part of the verse turns to Yahweh's character. Ezra says that if the Most High chooses to have pity on such a sinful people, then his name as merciful is truly shown. Mercy only shines where guilt is real. If Yahweh only dealt kindly with those who deserved it, his mercy would not be magnified the same way. But when he spares, forgives, and preserves sinners from among Israel, his compassion is made known. Within the understanding of Israel's covenant standing, this verse is Ezra appealing entirely to divine mercy, not human merit. He knows the nation has failed, yet he also knows Yahweh's reputation is tied to how he deals with his sinful inheritance. So Ezra is asking the Most High to show pity, not because Israel has earned it, but because Yahweh is the one who is called merciful when he has compassion on the undeserving. 2 Esdras 8:33. For the righteous who have many works laid up with thee shall receive their reward in consequence of their own deeds. Ezra now makes a clear distinction between the righteous and the sinful nation he has just been pleading for. In the previous verse, he confessed that Israel as a whole has no works of righteousness to stand on. But here he acknowledges that there are indeed righteous ones, the remnant, whose faithful deeds are known and preserved by Yahweh. When he says many works laid up with thee, he means that the righteous are not forgotten. Their obedience, endurance, teaching, suffering, and covenant faithfulness are stored before the Most High. Nothing they have done in truth is lost. Yahweh has kept record of their works, just as earlier it was said that a treasure of works is stored up with him. Then Ezra says, they shall receive their reward in consequence of their own deeds. This means the righteous will be rewarded because of their faithfulness, obedience, and perseverance. Their reward is not arbitrary. It is tied to the life they lived before Yahweh. They walked in the law, trusted in his glory, and endured affliction. Therefore they will receive the inheritance prepared for them. Within the understanding of the covenant people, this verse highlights the remnant principle again. Not all in Israel are alike. Many have sinned and need mercy, but the righteous among Israel have works laid up with Yahweh and will receive their reward. So Ezra is balancing two truths. The sinful need pity. The righteous will receive what their faithful deeds have secured before the Most High. This verse shows that Yahweh is both merciful to sinners and just to reward the righteous. 2 ESDRAS 8:34. But what is man, that thou art angry with him? Or what is a corruptible race, that thou art so bitter against it? Ezra now speaks from deep humility and astonishment. He looks at man in his weakness and corruption, and wonders how such a frail creature could stand under the full weight of Yahweh's anger. But what is man? Ezra is lowering man to his proper place. Man is not glorious in himself. He is dust, weak, temporary, and unable to sustain his own life. After all Ezra has said about birth, nourishment, instruction, correction, and death, he now asks, what is man really in comparison to the greatness of the Most High? That thou art angry with him. Ezra is not denying that man deserves judgment. Rather, he is marveling that such a small and frail being should become the object of divine wrath. The thought overwhelms him because the difference between Yahweh and man is so great. Or what is a corruptible race? This points to mankind, especially Israel in their fallen condition, as a race subject to corruption, weakness, decay, and sin. Corruptible reminds us that flesh is unstable and prone to failure. Ezra sees that man is not naturally strong in righteousness, but bent toward corruption. That thou art so bitter against it? Ezra is pleading with the Most High to consider the frailty of the people. He knows the judgment is just, but he is asking whether such severity should fall upon a race so weak and corruptible. This is part of his intercession for mercy. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, Ezra is speaking especially about Israel in their mortal, corruptible condition. He knows they have sinned, but he is asking Yahweh to weigh their weakness alongside their guilt. The verse is not an excuse for rebellion, but a plea that the Most High would remember what man is: frail flesh, prone to corruption, and utterly dependent on mercy. Ezra's point is this: if man is so weak, and if the race is so corruptible, then the survival of any of them must come by the mercy of Yahweh, not by strength of flesh. 2 ESDRAS 8:35. For in truth, there is no one among those who have been born who has not acted wickedly, and among those who have existed, there is no one who has not transgressed. Ezra continues his plea by confessing the universal failure of man in the flesh. He is emphasizing that sin is not rare among those born into this present corruptible life. It is common to all. For in truth, Ezra is speaking plainly and honestly. This is not exaggeration. It is a sober acknowledgement before Yahweh. There is no one among those who have been born who has not acted wickedly. Everyone born into this mortal condition has at some point acted wickedly. This highlights the weakness of flesh and the fallen condition of man. Ezra is not saying all are equally wicked in measure, but that none are untouched by sin. And among those who have existed, there is no one who has not transgressed. Transgression means going beyond or against the commandment. Ezra is confessing that all have broken the standard of righteousness. This includes the covenant people, who were given the law and still failed to keep it perfectly. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, Ezra is speaking from the standpoint of the people under covenant responsibility. Israel has the law, yet even within Israel there is no one in the flesh who has never transgressed. This magnifies two truths. No one can boast in the flesh, and all survival depends on the mercy of Yahweh. This verse is not meant to erase the difference between the righteous remnant and the rebellious multitude. Rather, it shows that even the righteous stand only because of Yahweh's mercy, while the wicked are condemned for continuing in rebellion without repentance. Ezra's point is clear. If all in the flesh have transgressed, then mercy is necessary, and the remnant who are saved, because Yahweh is both merciful and just. Table of Contents. Introduction. Yahweh's exclusive covenant with Israel. The purpose of this book. No disparagement of non-Israelite races. The foundations used throughout this book. On the right foundation, Israel's covenant exclusivity, believing Yahweh Shai and the consequences of unbelief. The exclusive nature of Israel in the Old Testament. The exclusive nature of Israel in the New Testament. Part 2. Replacement Theology, examined. Dare we say the Church has replaced the 12 tribes of Israel, hope, the law, and Israel in the New Testament, the exclusivity of Israel in Ephesians, Philippians, and beyond, redemption and the many, the exclusive nature of Israel in the letters of James, Peter, John, and Jude, Israel in the book of Revelation, reactions and doctrinal challenges. Next steps in the book. Common reactions to Israel's exclusivity. Reactions to the exclusive doctrine of Israel, expanded. Are there 2 or 3 witnesses for exclusive Israel? Separation, the world, and the gospel. Word meanings. Understanding separation and the world. The world, cosmos, or oikoumeni. The 2 differing gospels. Stumbling blocks to an exclusive Israel doctrine. Case studies, Israelites in dispersion. Peter's sheet vision, a closer examination. The Ethiopian eunuch, an Israelite in dispersion. The widow of Sarepta, an Israelite in dispersion. The Lord's Prayer, an exclusive Israelite perspective. Extra scriptural doctrines exposed. The extra-scriptural doctrine of Judeans and Gentiles. Can strangers become Israelites? In thee shall all nations be blessed. That unfortunate word, Gentile. Yahweh Shai's ministry was not primarily to the Judeans or in Judea. Identity, history, and deception. Could the modern Judeans be Israel? Can the Judeans be identified? Josephus in his comments on the Judeans. Does Edom have any marks of identification today? Judeans who are non-Semitic. Historical commentary and records. What is their blasphemy? Anti-Semitism. A tool for deception. Religious and political nonsense. Galatians, promise, and heirship. Galatians and Israel exclusivity. Interpreting Galatians in light of Israel exclusivity. Christos without Yesu, Messiah without Jesus. Can the promises to Abraham's seed be spiritualized? Who are the heirs according to the promise? In Christ versus in Jesus. Neither Judean nor Greek. Who are the Greeks? Israel in the entire New Testament. Sonship, adoption, and faith. Isaac, hearing faith and freeborn sons. In thee shall all nations be blessed. Revisited. The promise in thy seed in the New Testament. The biblical concept of adoption, the placement of a son, analysis of the 5 adoption verses, understanding the sons of Yahweh and the doctrine of adoption, pilgrims, strangers, and Israel, New Testament strangers, seed, rebirth, and sowing.